We're with Juanita Robinson today. Juanita's WBT professional angler and a good friend of ours. How you doing today, Juanita?
I'm doing great, Jared. It's a pleasure to do an interview with you and be here having fun at the Classic, although I'd rather been out there fishing this week. You know, I missed it by 60 points, but, you know, it's heartbreaking, but, you know, you got to get over it and move on and work on this next year, and I plan on working, you know, even a little bit harder and maybe making this next year and showing out at Birmingham when they show up there in Birmingham next February.
It's probably lucky for the guys that you didn't make, because you'd probably be out there whooping some tail right now.
Well, you know, probably so, because I know a lot about the river, and the river system is my type of fishing, and I've fished on the river a lot of times and done great, and I wished I could have been here and showed them up a little bit, showed them how the women can.
I hear you're really familiar with the Red River.
Yes.
It's like almost your backyard.
Yeah, it is. I only live, well, I live about 3.5 hours from the Red River, from Shreveport area. My lake house is on Toledo Bend, which is only about 2 hours from here. I fished over here quite a bit, fished over here and done well in tournaments here. It's just my type of fishing. I love fishing a river system like this, where you fish in mostly shallow water. If you get over 6 foot, you're too deep. You know, backwaters. I mean, this is just my style of fishing, flipping jigs and flipping worms and tubes and stuff, and catching fish off of stumps and brush and crankbaits. I love throwing a crankbait. I did a lot of crankbaiting last year, and it paid off for me. I plan on, you know, expanding on my crankbait fishing again this year.
Do a lot of shallow water crankbaiting?
Yes, I do. I used, one of my sponsors is Academy Outdoors, Sports and Outdoors, and they have a great line of lures out now, the H2O series. And I used one of their small crankbaits. It's a small crankbait that runs about 2 to 4 foot. It's in a sexy shad color, and I caught a ton of fish on that this last year.
So what are your goals for the upcoming season?
Well, the main goal is to win one of the tournaments, of course, do well in each one of the tournaments, make Angler of the Year this year. I only missed it by 60 points this last year. So, you know, I'm going to be working on that, try to, you know, improve on every tournament, and making Angler of the Year and making that classic berth for the Women WBT Tour this next year.
You had a lot of strong finishes this year. What was your favorite performance? What's your favorite lake of this last season?
Well, the last season, I'd have to say Neely Henry was my favorite out of all the tournaments we fished. I finished up second there. I look back at the season, I could have probably done better there if I'd have changed out my hooks. Just, you know, it's just a stupid mistake not changing out hooks the night before the first day of the tournament. You know, I lost some fish the first day, which I don't think I would have lost them if I'd have changed out my hooks and done a little bit more preparation. But, you know, you live and learn.
What presentation did you use mostly during that?
Mostly topwater. I was throwing a topwater bait that Academy makes. It's like a Sammy. And you work it like a Sammy or a Zorspook type rhythm.
Or walk a dog?
Just walk a dog.
What kind of tips could you give our members about topwater?
I was making really long casts. I like making long casts. Your bait stays in the water a lot longer. Just depends on if the fish wants it a fast walk, or, you know, if you're working a bait and they're missing it. I try speeding it up, working it faster, so sometimes they'll see it and they won't bite it. If you're working it too slow, they'll see it. You know, in a little clearer water, you want to work it real fast where they don't see the bait. They see the motion on the water and think it's a bait fish or a brim or something, you know, laying on top of the water dying. So, you know, presentation is a lot of it.
It varies, so it's not always
just throw it out there and just let it set.
Is that what you should have changed the hooks on with your topwater baits?
Yeah.
So you do change the trebles on those baits from time to time?
Yeah. not this last winter, winter before, I took all my crankbaits out of the boat. I took every one out, cleaned them up, put new hooks on it. That topwater bait was a topwater bait that a friend of mine had given me. And he had been catching fish on it. I went out and fished with him before cutoff. And for some reason, I just felt, well, he wasn't losing any fish. He was catching fish all the time on it. And I felt, well, it didn't need new hooks. You know, he caught fish on it, didn't lose any, so you know what, you live and learn.
Yep, yep. Now, the rod in your hand, you're sponsored by American Rodsmith, and that's one of their, looks like is that a bait caster?
Yes. Well, it's called their Magnum bass rod. And the thing about this is their new H3 Ultra Max rods. And the thing about it is, we're the only company, American Rodsmith is the only company out there that has a rod that goes from 6.6 to 7.2. You're out there fishing, you're out there throwing long, you're out there making long casts, and you want to switch up and you go into shore and you're starting to fish up close stuff, you can loosen this up and bring it down to 6.6.
Oh, that's really cool.
Fish in close. It's got recoil guides on the rod.
Oh,
and it's got a fused tip
new.
where you can't break out your tip. It's fused in there. It's 92 million modulus, and it's got all your sensitivity is down in your handle here, so you got sensitivity all the way down into the handle here. But it's a great rod for just throwing different variations.
The rod collapses, that doesn't affect the sensitivity. Do you notice it's more sensitive long or short, or pretty much the same all around?
No, it doesn't matter. Because you're holding your rod mostly right here, and you got your sensitivity right in here. So it doesn't really mess up the sensitivity on it. But it's great for, you can adjust it all different lengths. I mean, you don't have to go from 6.6 to 7.2 all in one tank. You can go right in between, whatever your preference is. If you're throwing a spinner bait out and making long casts, and all of a sudden you're up there around some docks, you get up there along some docks and you can bring it on down to 6.6 and make those, those small pitches or whatever you want to do with it. But it's a great series of variation of American Rodsmith rods. I use their H3 Carolina rig rods. I use a Dickie Newberry flipping stick for dropping, pitching, working a jig. I'm not a finesse fisherman. I have some finesse rods, but that's not my style of fishing. I'm more of a power fisherman, more of a crankbait, go get it, get it done type of person. So.
What kind of reels do you use?
I use Academy H2O reels. They have 3 reels out. They're a 6.7 speed reel. Real good little reel. Make long casts. They're durable. I haven't had a bit of trouble out of them.
Academy seems to make a lot of good stuff.
Academy has got a lot of stuff, and they've got a lot of stores all over the United States. You can get anything from soccer balls to bass boats at Academy Sports and Outdoors.